2 hours north of New York, where for 3 weeks artists from around the world gather to make work and hobnob with gallerists and curators and other folks, which Peregrine is going to speak about. Our funders for the Art Omi effort kindly have been the Arts KC Fund, Susan Moore here, the Winbury Group next door at City Center Square, and there's an interesting relationship there because Time Equity's founder, Francis Greenberg, who gives out awards to artists in New York, actually started Art Omi, and he owns City Center Square. City Center Square and Time Equities have been helpful to artists nationally, internationally, but also to Kansas City artists. So it's been a treat to have them come to town and participate in the arts community. They've been enthusiastic supporters. What am I forgetting? How many artists are here? Creative capital. Peregrine may make reference to this, but this is a professional development program that the Arts Council and Charlotte Street go together on. And any artists that are interested in this weekend retreat with 6 national artists come to town and teach the business side of one's practice, not the art. And I think that was kind of interesting that Peregrine go through Creative Capital and then go to Art Omi. So there's information there if anyone is interested. Applications will be due December 10th or so at the Arts Council office. So thanks for coming. Peregrine needs no introduction.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to just stand so you can look at the screen as I talk, but I think just to make it perfectly clear, I want to thank the Charlotte Fund and Arts KC for affording me this amazing opportunity. Just incredible. I wouldn't have gotten there without having the funding and the support. Also, I want to thank the Dolphin Gallery for just immediately having faith in my new work, coming from this experience and framing it and putting out there was nice to have such a great pedestal. So I'm going to start this lecture off showing some of the work that got me into this residency so that you can get a sense of how it's curated and how people are put together in this incredible space where it's a 2-story barn in the middle of the woods with butterflies and ponds running around. And then I just I was working on these pieces about phobias, and this is Fear of Roses. My work went from being about 12 by 12 to being about 36 by 49. So all of a sudden, work that more subtle version of things I was thinking about became very big, and that made the work seem much more aggressive. This is Indian Summer. I was dealing with ideas about Indian women being servants because they were cheaper than American women. So this sort of idea of physical copyright and racism within the medical field, that you could sort of outsource somebody else's universe. And on the side, this is sort of my poster image for the year. This is from a solo show that I had at Toy Hacker Projects. Just the idea of American women traveling and sort of taking on the ornamentation of indigenous cultures, but not really showing them the sort of respect for that exact ornamentation. The Chanel embossment sort of implies this ritual scarification. Detail. Again, sort of doily idea that I'm always working with, and then underneath these Islamic images sort of floating through space in this rainbow. And these are also very big, 49 by 36. This previous piece sold to the Albert Knox Museum in Buffalo, New York. This is a very well received show. She kind of looks stupid, and she's wearing this jewelry from Southern Africa. Ideas of luxury and torture, there's a silver chain that sort of pulls from that piece to the paper, and the weight of the chain has this kind of sparkling graphite line, but it's a three-dimensional object. Like, are you allowed to do something if it's couture? Like, when does it not become cool to walk down the street, even if it's considered to be high-end? Southern, can I have a little bit less light? Yes, this is fine. But the colors are a little bit, it's not quite translating, but it's an inch in my mouth scarf. And then the detail of this piece is, it's a muse, thank you. And again, this idea that, you know, if you're into yoga and all these sort of hippie things, but then you get closer, there's another translation that's happening. So I started to pretend to work from live models that were actually just fashion models, these streamers. They have a sort of blue circular to create these pieces, a little bit just historically more formal. This is my studio. I got to Art Omi. It's a long trip. It's 2 hours from the city, like David said, but then it's a cab ride, it's a plane, train, automobile situation. You'll see at the angle, this piece is sort of this built piece of wood that I use throughout my residency as a palette. And I continued to work for the first couple of days, the way that I had been working before. And again, I don't really have a way to darken this, but there's writing in the upper right-hand corner. And I started drawing, these are if you go to Walnut Street, the celestial flyways, these are the birds that I worked with Lord D'Angelis on, and I printed these papers into my work. And then as I met these incredible people, I was one of 3 Americans. It's 1,000 people are considered and looked through, and then 30 people are chosen. My roommate was from Pakistan, and I started to work with her about the idea of being worked over. And these birds, I just kept printing so you can have blank pieces of paper. This is to Lucello, my Italian studio partner, just for making fun of the birds in my drawings. I guess in Italy there's sort of this. Funny. All the Italians thought it was hilarious. It's like my parts, your parts, my girl parts, your boy parts. So I wrote it into the work. So I had this opportunity to deal with language, which I like to deal with other people's languages. And then the third day that I was there, the critics started showing up from New York. And we're talking like big, intelligent, right, super smart. And I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on around me, just kind of working with my way of working. And Virgil Hogg, who is an artist who's patronized by a guy named Cohen Sensei, asked me why I wasn't drawing from life. And you can see through my window, there's birds flying in and bugs flying in. It's very pretty. We're eating together, our food is taken care of, our wine is taken care of. This is this guy from Latvia. He's amazing. And he's in the picture, but Virgil Hogg came to my studio. It was my second studio visit, and asked me why I wasn't drawing from life. So I went downstairs, and one of the girls from the grounds was just standing in the light, and I asked her if I could draw her, and her mother agreed. And so I put her in this chair, and I changed her into these clothes, and I don't understand what is my saying, but this is a color image. It is on the screen. So these are again 49 by 36. I felt that these are too formal for me. So I talked to somebody else in my studio, and they had brought a hammock in from New York. They lived in New York. And so I put this hammock out in my studio. And this is the brother of one of the girls that I started drawing. And he reinforced the wall. I put the costumes up. I started drawing people, putting the drawings up as I went. And there's my again. Okay, so Megan shows up, and she's the girl that had started going from the beginning, and she would change her clothes, she brought Mr. Zippers, her rabbit. And, you know, I kind of just let them feel that my studio was their space, so it wasn't this. I wanted the girls, because they were young, to feel that they were comfortable in the space. And so, this is dark and different, but it was really ridiculous how corny this painting turned out. Which is not because technically, but I allowed them to start bringing their own clothes. So, but I needed to remove the hammock. Is there a way to go to this?
We can try to.